The morning began like any other, with the first light of dawn breaking over the horizon. The sun rose, casting a warm glow on the bustling city, illuminating the streets and buildings with a golden hue. Birds chirped in the trees, their cheerful songs filling the air, creating a serene backdrop to the city's awakening. People went about their daily routines, heading to work, school, or their favorite coffee shops, unaware of the unexpected turns life can take. A sense of normalcy prevailed, a comforting illusion that would soon be shattered by unforeseen events. In a matter of seconds, the ordinary can transform into the extraordinary, leaving an indelible mark on all those involved, altering their lives forever. Imagine a young woman, Sarah, walking down a crowded street, her thoughts consumed by the day's to-do list, planning her meetings and errands. She is lost in her own world, oblivious to the subtle cues of danger lurking nearby, her mind preoccupied with mundane concerns. Suddenly, a loud pop echoes through the air, cutting through the city's symphony of sound, startling everyone around. At first, Sarah dismisses it as a car backfiring, a common occurrence in the urban jungle, something she has heard countless times before. However, as screams erupt around her and chaos descends, she realizes with chilling clarity that something is terribly wrong. The once familiar streets now feel alien and threatening as panic spreads like wildfire. Emergency responders rush to the scene, their sirens blaring, trying to restore order amidst the confusion. Sarah's heart races as she tries to make sense of the unfolding chaos. She looks around, her eyes wide with fear and confusion, searching for a safe place or a familiar face. The day's to-do list now seems trivial in the face of this sudden crisis. Amidst the turmoil, acts of kindness emerge, as strangers help each other, offering comfort and support. In these moments, the true spirit of humanity shines through. Sarah finally finds a place of safety, her heart still pounding, but a sense of relief washing over her. She knows that this day, which began like any other, will be etched in her memory forever. The world seems to shift into slow motion as Sarah processes the scene unfolding before her. Every detail becomes painfully clear, from the distant sounds of sirens to the frantic shouts of people around her. It's as if time itself has decided to stretch, making each second feel like an eternity. People are running, their faces etched with fear and panic. The chaos is palpable, a living, breathing entity that seems to consume everything in its path. Sarah can see the terror in their eyes, a mirror of her own growing dread. She sees a man lying on the ground, a crimson stain blooming on his white shirt. The sight is surreal, almost like a scene from a nightmare. The blood spreads slowly, a stark contrast against the white fabric, making the reality of the situation undeniable. It is then that she feels a searing pain in her arm, a sharp, burning sensation that takes her breath away. The pain is intense, radiating through her body like wildfire. She gasps, clutching her arm instinctively, trying to comprehend the sudden agony. She looks down to see a growing red spot on her own sleeve, the color vivid against the fabric. The sight of her own blood is jarring, a visual confirmation of the injury she can scarcely believe is real. In that moment, time seems to stop for Sarah. The world around her fades into the background, leaving her in a bubble of shock and disbelief. Everything else becomes a distant hum, overshadowed by the pounding of her own heart. The realization hits her with the force of a physical blow. She's been shot. The thought is almost too much to process, a horrifying truth that her mind struggles to accept. She feels a wave of nausea, the world tilting precariously around her. The world around her fades into a blur of noise and movement as shock begins to set in. Faces and voices merge into an indistinguishable cacophony, the chaos of the scene overwhelming her senses. She feels detached, as if watching everything from a distance. Her body, still caught in the throes of adrenaline, doesn't quite register the pain yet. The shock acts as a numbing agent, dulling the immediate agony and allowing her to function, albeit in a daze. Her mind races, trying to make sense of the incomprehensible. There's a strange disconnect between what she knows intellectually, that she's been injured, and what she's experiencing physically. Her mind tells her one thing, but her body seems to be in denial, refusing to fully acknowledge the severity of the situation. It's a surreal, almost out-of-body experience as she grapples with the reality of her injury. The impact of a bullet is a violent collision of physics and biology. When a bullet strikes, it is not just a simple penetration, it is a complex interaction of forces and materials. The projectile, traveling at high velocity, transfers its kinetic energy upon impact, causing a dramatic transfer of force. This energy transfer creates a shock wave that radiates through the surrounding tissues, disrupting cells and causing significant damage. The bullet's path through the body is unpredictable, potentially damaging organs, bones, and blood vessels in its wake. The trajectory can change based on the density and type of tissue it encounters. The severity of the wound depends on factors such as the type of bullet, whether it is a hollow point, full metal jacket, or another type, each designed to behave differently upon impact. The distance from which it was fired also plays a crucial role. A bullet fired from close range will have more kinetic energy and cause more damage than one fired from a distance. Additionally, the location of the impact is critical. A bullet striking a vital organ can be fatal, while one hitting a limb might be less severe but still cause significant trauma. The human body, while resilient, is fragile in the face of such trauma. The body's ability to recover depends on the extent of the damage and the speed of medical intervention. The immediate aftermath of a gunshot wound is a chaotic interplay of physiological responses as the body fights to survive. The body's emergency systems kick in to manage the crisis. Blood vessels constrict to stem blood loss, initiating the clotting process to prevent further hemorrhage. The heart races to pump blood to vital organs, ensuring that they receive the oxygen and nutrients needed to function. Meanwhile, the respiratory system struggles to maintain oxygen supply, often requiring medical intervention to support breathing. Amidst this internal chaos, the brain grapples to comprehend the situation, often delaying the full impact of the pain. The brain's response can include shock, confusion, and a delayed reaction to the trauma as it tries to process the sudden and severe injury. Shock, both psychological and physiological, is the body's defense mechanism against overwhelming trauma. It manifests as a sense of numbness, disorientation, and disbelief. The injured person may appear strangely calm, their emotions blunted by the body's attempt to prioritize survival. This state of shock can last for minutes, hours, or even days, masking the true extent of the injury. For Sarah, the initial moments after being shot were a blur of confusion and disbelief. She remembers feeling a strange detachment from her surroundings, as if she were watching a movie unfold before her eyes. The pain, though present, was a dull ache, overshadowed by the overwhelming sense of unreality. It was as if her mind couldn't quite grasp the enormity of what had just happened. Section 5. Minh's story, a fight for life. Minh, a young student, was walking home from the library one evening when his life took a drastic turn. Caught in the crossfire of a random shooting, he felt a sudden, searing pain in his chest. The world around him spun, the sounds of the city fading into a distant hum. He stumbled, his hand instinctively clutching at his chest, feeling the warmth of his own blood seeping through his fingers. As he lay on the cold pavement, struggling to breathe, a million thoughts raced through his mind. Fear, sharp and cold, gripped his heart. He thought of his family, his friends, his dreams for the future. He wasn't ready to die, not like this. Summoning a surge of adrenaline, Minh forced himself to stay conscious, to cling to life. Section 6. The aftermath, physical and emotional scars. The physical wounds inflicted by a bullet are only part of the story. The emotional and psychological scars can run deep, impacting every aspect of a survivor's life. Post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, depression, and survivor's guilt are common among gunshot victims, often requiring extensive therapy and support to overcome. For Minh, the road to recovery was long and arduous. The physical pain gradually subsided, but the emotional scars lingered. The memory of that night haunted his dreams, filling him with a sense of dread and vulnerability. He withdrew from friends and family, isolating himself in a world of fear and anxiety. It took months of therapy and the unwavering support of his loved ones for Minh to begin to heal, to piece together the shattered fragments of his life. Section 7. Navigating the aftermath. The aftermath of a gunshot wound is a long and challenging journey. Survivors face a myriad of physical and emotional hurdles, from managing pain and undergoing rehabilitation, to coping with the psychological trauma and the fear of recurrence. The road to recovery is often fraught with setbacks, requiring immense resilience, determination, and a strong support system. Support groups and therapy can provide a safe and understanding space for survivors to share their experiences, to process the trauma, and to learn coping mechanisms. Family and friends play a vital role in providing emotional support, encouragement, and a sense of normalcy. The journey to recovery is not linear. It is a process of healing, adapting, and rediscovering one's strength and resilience. Section 8. Finding strength in adversity. The experience of being shot can be a life-altering event, leaving both visible and invisible scars. It is a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the randomness of violence. Yet, amidst the pain and trauma, many survivors find a newfound appreciation for life, a determination to overcome adversity, and a desire to make a difference in the world. Minh, after months of therapy and rehabilitation, found a renewed sense of purpose. He became an advocate for gun control, sharing his story at rallies and community events, his voice trembling at times yet filled with conviction. He channeled his pain into action, determined to prevent others from experiencing the same trauma. Section 9. A call to awareness. The issue of gun violence is a complex and multifaceted one, demanding a multi-pronged approach that addresses root causes and promotes responsible gun ownership. Education, awareness, and open dialogue are crucial to fostering a culture of safety and responsibility. By understanding the devastating impact of gun violence, both on individuals and communities, we can work towards creating a safer and more peaceful world. It starts with each of us, with our willingness to engage in difficult conversations, to challenge our own biases, and to advocate for policies that promote peace and understanding. Let us strive to create a world where stories like Sarah's and Minh's are not cautionary tales but reminders of the resilience of the human spirit and our collective responsibility to foster a more peaceful and just society.